Afternoon, everybody. Happy Victory Monday. I've got I voted for Pedro Show with myself and, of course, the great Pete D. Burge of Niners DNA. Coming to us from Sydney, Australia. It's about 9 a.m. in the morning. We had a little snafu last week because we did a time change here, but there was no time change there. So we were coming to you Mondays at 3, but from here until, I don't know, springtime, I guess, when we spring forward, we'll be coming to you Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. So long-winded intro, but Pete, how are you doing today, Pedro?
I'm good, Ted. Yeah, so it's the daylight savings. We went into daylight savings. Your daylight savings finished, but yeah, I'm good. It's another great Tuesday here for us. Obviously, getting ready to watch the big game, but very, very happy with the win yesterday. Few little, it wasn't perfect, and I think everyone would say that it wasn't perfect. Kyle said it wasn't perfect. Brock said it wasn't perfect, even though he got the perfect rating. But yeah, look, I think we're in. Look at the bad news about Hufanga has come through, isn't it? The ACL.
ACL, yeah. It looked pretty awkward when he got juked there, and then I guess it must have been adrenaline was flowing. You didn't feel it, and then a little bit later he came out of the game. So it was unusual. Usually ACL is immediate pain, and
Yeah.
kind of have to be assisted off the field, but not in this case.
But as the guy that I did mention last week that I was a big fan of, Jair Brown, came in, and obviously he got off to a little bit of a shaky start, but then I think once he
got cooked.
Yeah. Once he got into the game, he really showed the talent that he has, and I am a huge fan of Jair Brown. I think, obviously you can't replace a Pro Bowler, with a rookie, but it wasn't so long ago that Huff was a rookie. But I think we are in safe hands with Jair Brown.
Yeah, I mean, he had the game-sealing interception at the end of the game, so that was exciting. And there are a lot of similarities between he and Hufanga. They're both big hitters. They're both ball hawks. They're both good blitzers, and they both started out as liabilities in coverage. And hopefully, Jair's been working on that because they're gonna test him. It's gonna be like, welcome to the league, rookie, and here you go. It was like probably the first play after he came in, Baker went right at him, and they had a 41-yard completion a little bit later, and but he ended up doing well towards the end, so that's all we can hope for, and hope that continues. But last week I was pretty clear that I was saying, hey, the D-line looked great against the Jags, but the Jags O-line is pretty trash. So let's not expect that again. And sure enough, there were barely any sacks.
No sacks. Well, no, hang on.
I don't know. I don't
No,
even
there
think
was 4 sacks. There was 4 sacks
against the Bucks.
Yes.
Oh wow, it didn't seem like it. There were a lot of plays where there wasn't much pressure. There's a lot of plays where Baker had time to do whatever he wanted.
You're absolutely right. What's going on there?
I just think I don't know. I mean, earlier in the season, I thought it was that our corners were playing so far off the ball, but it seemed like they got up closer to the line of scrimmage against the Jags. I honestly haven't gotten through rewatching the game from yesterday. I've been busy. I had my mom's 80th birthday last night.
Oh, happy birthday.
And my son had no school today because of Thanksgiving, and so I was on daddy duties all day today. But it was fun. We got to get out and drive the cars. We found a BMX park nearby the house, and like if you can jump a bike or a skateboard there, you can jump these RC cars. So it's a lot of fun. Perfect. Unfortunately, his wheel fell off of his, and the screw got lost. And nice thing was, it was like the last day to return it on Amazon. I was like, it's funny. I bought 2 cars that looked the same, but they're not the same. I thought I could use my spare parts to fix his, and as soon as I figured out I couldn't, then I was like, let's just return it, and we'll start over with something a little more powerful like what I have. But enough about that. Nobody wants to hear about RC stuff. At least not on this channel. I am going to start an RC channel, but more on that later. Let's see here. We got Red Jet Shell in the house. She's saying Victorious Monday to all. Welcome, Red Jet. Red Jet was she's a member of TED Talks Ball. She was my second member, so early adopter. So thank you for that, Red Jet. Appreciate it. Yeah, Jimmy Perez in the house saying what's up, Ted and Pedro.
Jimmy.
Better now that you're here. Also, that's something we should remind people. We're streaming to both channels. So please make sure if you're on my channel, get over to Niners DNA, give Pedro a like and subscribe. Same thing if you're on his channel, pop over to me, give me a like and subscribe. And if you're on a browser, if you wouldn't mind opening up 2 tabs, just make sure you mute one, and that way we can get extra watch hours that way. It really would help us. So thanks in advance for that. Brian Culp's here. Happy Victory Monday, faithful. Absolutely. Saying hi to Red Jet. They're all just saying hi. I'm not going to go through all that. Jim Everett the Great in the house saying Ted. He's been loving giving me grief about my dancing in the John Chapman video. I actually saw him at the game yesterday. He was sitting with me in the gold mine with about he had a buddy with him. I think it was supposed to be Breezy, but Breezy lives back east, so not always easy to make a cross country trek for a game. But I will say that the UK people made it over from England. So come on, Breezy. No, I'm just kidding. It would have been fun to see Breezy again, though. I had just seen them for that video that we shot. But I saw Paul Hope. I got to meet him. Got to meet Lee Gowland, the president. Paul Hope's the vice president of 49ers Faithful UK. I got to meet Neil Graham. I got to shake him down for why he had blocked me on Twitter and got him to unblock me. So that was good. I think it was a mistake, but either way, we got it rectified. Also got to meet 37 other 49ers Faithful UK folks made it.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. The Goldman's a lot of fun. You're signed up. They're free tickets that you get to go, but you earn them. It's like the focal point of all the chants that start throughout the stadium all start with the gold mine. So you got to be cheering every time we're on defense. Obviously quiet when we're on offense.
Yeah,
like you should be, but you can't leave early. I had my mom's 80th birthday, and I was like, "Oh God, traffic!" And but there, it's just sort of like you sign your life away when you go to this thing. That you'll stay for the entire game, whether it's 80-0 or nothing to 80, or like yesterday, a little bit in between. But it was a lot of fun. Nick Clark is great, the guy who runs it. And I had meant to introduce myself to him when I was at camp because he's really active with the non-VIP, so the general admission side of camp practices of all the fans that are there. And I was stupid and didn't send him in, but at least I got to meet him yesterday, so that was good. A lot of fun. So thank you again, 49ers Faithful UK. If you guys don't know, that's their flag there. It's like the British flag with the SF logo. And just had a blast with those guys. And really, really great folks and gals. There's a few gals in the group too. So, what else we got? So let's try and catch up a little bit. Dad joke. What do you call a helpful lemon? Lemonade. Wah, wah, wah. I love it though. Sure, that's good. Just silly fun guy's not here, so somebody's got to take up the dad joke mantle. Nancy Cameron was the first member of TED Talks Ball. Here she is. Hello, Ted and Pedro. Red Jet Shell too. Thanks, Nancy. Good to see you. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's saying hi. Jim Everett says RC cars are dope. Yeah, they are a lot of fun. It's amazing what you can get on Amazon for my son's was $60. Mine was more like $120, and then with a upgraded $40 battery, his will go 20, and mine will go like 40 miles an hour. And they go off road. Like I said, you can take them to skate parks and do jumps, and they're pretty durable. You can break them, but you pretty much have to try.
Wow.
They're a lot of fun. And then, of course, then you get into tires and upgrading the transmitter, and it's an endless rabbit hole of stuff. Painting the rims to cool metallic colors and things like that. But anyway, let's see here. Daniel Thompson in the house saying hey boo to Jim. There we go. Saying hi to Nancy. Got Jess in the house. Jess is East Coast Red and Gold, and she was out in the gold mine. It's a great time. So she knows. She was out in the gold mine for the opening day, home opener, Giants game, Thursday Night Football. and she invited a bunch of folks. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because my wife was had given birth just 3 days before. I knew couldn't commit to anything like that. But they got to go down to the field, and they met Steve Young and some other folks.
Oh, wow.
Other players, active current players, and things like that. We unfortunately, I think because of the rain, they didn't want people on the field, so we didn't get a chance to go down, unfortunately. But fortunately for me, then I was able to make it on time to my mom's birthday, or not too late, I should say, to my mom's birthday party. So that was good. Let's see here. Reggie says fourth quarter left a lot to be desired. More importantly, So yeah, I mean, Pedro said Purdy wasn't perfect, and yeah, he wasn't perfect. You know, he got sacked 4 times, you know, there were some throws that left something to be desired, but there were so many really nice throws and so many.
He mentioned that himself. I'm not being I love, you know, my feelings about Brock. I love Brock, right? But he said it himself. There was in the presser, there was some out there that he wanted back. So let's be.
I will say, if I'm going to go with the Purdy stands on this one, which I rarely do because they're constantly coming for me. But you know, the one incompletion to Kittle was definitely a PI. So that didn't deserve to be a PI. So he could have easily been, you know, what was it, 20 out of 23, or was he not, or was he 21? Well, I forget what he was.
21 of 25.
Okay, so he could have easily been 22 of 25.
Yeah.
If that had been, or at least it wouldn't have been called maybe it might not have been called a pass attempt if there had been a PI on it or whatever. But Danielle says Ted got your new visor. I guess it's just been a while since I worn this one.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
It hasn't been around too long, but I like it because it has 2 SF logos on it. It's kind of unusual. But yeah, I've worn it a few times. But yeah, it was one of the. I got a group of 3 of them that were used ones, and this was one of them. Nancy says, sounds like fun. Happy 80th, Tori. She's a lovely person. Yeah, my mom is incredible. There were definitely some like tear jerking speeches, and it was a fun night for sure. We need a secondary upgrade. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ambry Thomas, he looked good against the Jags. He looked a little bit shakier against the Bucks, but you know, he's doing all right. But yeah, Ambry Thomas is a little bit of a weak spot. Obviously, Isaiah Oliver is. I haven't seen the snap counts from yesterday, but it didn't seem like he was in there that much. But yeah, with Hufanga down, it's going to be a tall order for Jair Brown to fill in for, and maybe we'll see some of George Odom, who's a little bit faster and a little more experienced.
Yeah, and there's a couple of guys coming back off IR, and I just forgive me, but the names have escaped me right at this point in time. But last week we played a lot more press man, and again we didn't. Yesterday I didn't feel like we were pressed up. I didn't think we were as aggressive as we could have been.
Maybe that's why the pass rush wasn't having time to get home.
Yeah,
because Baker seemed like he had a lot of open targets for sure.
That's what I saw. I'd love to hear what the guys in the chat think, because it just didn't seem as though we were aggressive at press man. I think that is the blueprint for our success because I forget the name. Jim Everett is great. You know, he's great. He's right. You know, we do need some work on the secondary, but we don't necessarily need to do too much if we have if we change our coverage, because there was a little they were off the ball on a cup, and I know they were probably designing looks with up front, but it just was not the same D, and it was soft zone on those occasions. I thought. Love to hear what people were thinking.
It seemed like that to me, but I again haven't taken a look since I was there. Snowman Multimedia in the house. He has his own YouTube channel. Everybody make sure you check him out. We were trying to collab a while back, but I'm sure we'll get it together one of these days and do a dual stream. It'll be a lot of fun, so I can't wait for that. Danielle was saying Wilkes better be getting praise. Yeah, I mean, the D played pretty well. I mean, certainly the turnover was really helpful where Bosa stripped him or came up with a fumble. I forget which one, but that was nice for sure. But
That was Fred Warner that hit like.
but I feel like the D did a really good job. I feel like Kyle really botched it a little bit towards the end. Like, for instance, we got a stop towards the end as they were coming down towards like the left side of the field. If you're looking from the TV towards the gold mine where we were sitting, and I went to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, this should be over. And I come back and they're like, all of a sudden they're right where they were again. Like we like had thrown the ball 3 times. We didn't run it, and we punted and they got a huge return. And I'm like, holy smokes, they're about to score again. How did this happen? Like, I thought I was cool going to take a leak. And no, not at all. So I think Kyle blew that play call for sure. I was just like, run the damn ball. And then when we got the ball back, he did run it more.
Yeah.
But there was something else he did late in the game when he didn't punt the ball when we went for it, late in the game.
Yeah, we didn't make it.
We didn't make it. And it's like, why didn't you punt the ball, Kyle? I mean, I get it. He probably just wanted to choke them out and not ever give them the ball back again. But it was like 30 or 40 yards that we gave up by going for it there. And I just felt like with that little amount of time, that distance equals time, unless you think they're going to just bomb it on us, which I didn't. So yeah, I think the D did better than, especially towards the end, the D was better than Kyle, in my opinion.
Yeah. It just, it could be down to their O-line. They've got a really good offensive line, and their defense is pretty good too. So, and I really like Mike White. Is it Mike White? Not Mike White. Who's their wide receiver? The big boy.
Evans.
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. Yeah. 9,000 yard consecutive 1,000-yard seasons never been done in the NFL before.
Yeah.
I don't even think like 8 has been done. Like, or maybe when he hit 7, it was the first time someone had 7. Now he's got 9, and he's got 700 on his way to the next 1,000 here. And he got a bunch more yesterday too. So he's probably like 850, 900 out of 1,000 for 2023. He's as well as, knock on wood, barring injury, he's gonna get 1,000 this year, folks. That'll be 10 straight years of it. That's incredible.
Incredible wide receiver, big, fast, strong, long arms,
and more. That's underselling him just to call him a deep threat.
Oh, 100%. Like, he's good in the slot. He can wrestle the ball. He's good with when the ball needs to come to him in a window. But just on Red Jet Shell's comment, was so happy that felt for the guy, but he missed the conversion.
Oh yeah, Myers.
Yeah,
Myers. Well, he made the one against us Monday night in 2019 when I was there. So, bastard. And McLaughlin, our that rookie free agent kicker that we got, choked it big time through the tunnel. So that was hated that game. So yeah, no, it was big. Yeah, let's hope Philly loses tonight to the Chiefs. I'm not as bullish on the Chiefs as everybody else is.
I'm not bullish,
especially if T Swizzle's not going to be there. Kelsey just turns into he like falls off the radar when Tay-Tay's not in the hizzy. Real quick, silly fun guy is in the house with a dad joke. Shots fired. Sorry, I spill over myself. What do you call a pudgy psychic? A 4-chin teller. I only have 2 or 3, man. Come on.
Yeah, I've got at least 2.
Oh, come on. No, that's good. That's a good one, silly.
I went to a Mexican party on the weekend. That's why I've left the mustache on today.
Got the handlebars going.
Yeah.
Pedro, get Ted a hat.
I've got a lot of Niners hats, but this was this year.
I got a couple up here on the shelf. I can tell you when I put them on, it's so tall. And my head is already so tall. Then it's too tall. It takes up the whole damn frame. Like Abe Lincoln with that 10-gallon hat or whatever you call those top hats. No, can't do it, Danielle. Thanks though. Thanks for trying. The best 49ers QB rating since 1989. Steven. Yeah. No, it's a great rating. I was there and I just didn't think it was perfect. I called the show. I said Purdy was perfection versus Bucks because everybody's saying it. But I tell you, just like you and just like Purdy and just like Kyle, I don't think he was perfect. But
no,
I just think
he was incredible.
when you have elite weapons, the most elite weapons, the most elite running back, one of the most elite defenses, one of the most elite play callers, you should be doing historic type stuff. Not every game, but every once in a while. So if he can keep it up, then I'll change my tune. I did lower his ranking back to 6 to 9, his zenith, or I guess, the high point of the season, which I had him at after the Cowboys game. So we're back to there again, 6 to 9. And someone's like, well, I don't think you should do ratings every week. I'm like, hey, don't do them. But I'm gonna be me. If he's up and down, I'm gonna change my ratings. And he's been up and down. We got 187 in the house. Huge Purdy fan. Says bang bang Niner gang. Welcome 187. Hope you're doing well. Bryant won't ever be enough until we win 19 Super Bowls. No, just number 6. Look, what I said to Aaron when he posted about it on the timeline was, we just, he said, holding Purdy to winning a Super Bowl is not a fair standard. I said, we either need to win with less or we need to win it all. So if people get injured and we keep winning, great. But people got injured and we lost 3 in a row. So, so far I haven't seen that out of Purdy. And I think he's, like I said, he's a 6 to 9 is a solid franchise quarterback. You're clearly not looking for a replacement at that point. But the Mahomes stuff and the Montana and the Brady and the Young and the I can't even say Josh Allen anymore because everybody hates Josh Allen right now. But I think you guys will see why he's elite soon enough. Burrow is definitely elite. I saw Burrow carved us up the last time at Levi's. And now he's out, poor bastard. Also, I don't know if you saw Pedro or any of the pictures from the game, but I got this. My wife gave me this TED Talks ball medallion, monstrous.
Oh, you wearing that?
I should probably. I'll grab at some point. I'll turn the camera off and go grab it and show it closer because it's like shiny and speckly and stuff. But if you look at the picture, one of the pictures that Paul Hope posted, you could see it. One of them, he had the flag in front of it, so you couldn't see it. But one of the more recent one from today, you could see it pretty well. Anyway, but it was great. It was my wife got it free for our anniversary, which was the 20th of October, but it was late and it finally arrived just in time for the game yesterday. And it's funny because when I was there for that Breezy and John Chapman music video shoot, one of the guys, Nick, the Godfather, who helps them a lot with marketing, and he's just like a good promoter guy, whatever. He's like, dude, you need to get like a necklace with your logo on it and like get a QR code. And that way people can just use the QR. You don't have to type anything or remember the name of the show or anything like that. It just makes it easy for people to subscribe. So I do need to get like the QR either put on the back or like another little medallion below it with the QR code on it or something like that. So we'll see.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant idea. And then I forgot to tell my wife, but she got it out of dumb luck. So, or smart luck when it's her. It would be dumb luck if it was me.
So just Richard Sherman is saying that if Purdy was picked in the top 5, Purdy would be talked about as the face of the league.
Because he would have a strong arm and he'd be tall and he'd be fast. That's why. It's like
his go routes were pretty good. Those go balls were pretty good, right? I thought they were pretty good.
The one to Ayuk was really good. He threw it from about the 16 to about the 43. So that's like what is that? That's like 34 and 7, like 41 yards, air yards. So it was 76 altogether, but he ran a long way after he had the ball.
It was the longest pass this season.
Yeah. 76 yards is the longest TD pass this season.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Gesundheit.
Thank you. Thank you.
So maybe I'll work up from the bottom on the comments because I feel like I'm falling far behind. We got
Yeah.
Sentinel in the house.
We
Backups are
probably have to
Scott.
go from.
Tino's going to play Thursday. He will play in a full body cast. Yeah, I don't think they trust Locke to get it done.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, thank you. Sentinel's right. The whole duct tape, more like flex tape. LOL. There was that funny Rita Oak flex tape commercial, or not commercial, but cartoon after the Jags game about how like the Niners were springing leaks, and all of a sudden that Jags went. It's like flex tape. Stop the leaks.
Hurts and Dak.
I get it. Although I'll say Feliciano is doing pretty well. I kind of like what we've seen from John Feliciano at left guard. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at right guard when Aaron Banks comes back and pull Burford out, because Burford's been kind of a liability.
Yeah, that's right. Red Jet's right. She's right.
Yeah, Kittle had a really nice one. That was nice. Although I thought maybe OPI, but nobody wants to hear it. So Purdy has a 70.1 completion percentage and the longest pass for touchdown, I believe. Yeah, he's doing great. True. Statistics are great, no doubt. I mean, he's definitely doing really, really well. I'm just not really ready to say elite yet, but if he can keep it up, I could go there.
And the other thing is, I want to talk about BA for a bit. Brandon Ayuk. I just think he is one of the most underrated receiver. Like, no, I don't know if anyone talks about him out east or what the audience thinks of Brandon Ayuk. He's been a favorite of mine since he came into the league. I love that we drafted him, especially because as well, I think he is from Reno, an old
Reno, and then he went to Sierra College in Rockland, and then transferred to Arizona State.
That's right by where I used to live up in Truckee in Tahoe, and so yeah, and he's just his routes are great. He's there's no real show pony about him. He's just a worker. He's a worker, and I love him, and I want him to get his bag, and I don't want him. People are saying, they might trade him, they might not pick up his extension. They have to. He is so good.
Yeah, no, Ayuk is balling. He's doing great. I was saying that he was only doing it, against lesser teams. Bucks kind of a lesser team. The Bucks. I wrote my article about their run defense because that was a concern for me. Yeah. Anytime we've faced good run Ds in the past, it's hurt us. Their pass D is definitely not real strong, but nonetheless, really solid performance by Ayuk and Purdy. They were simpatico, linked up, same heartbeat. They were aligned, you could say. Real quick, we got Randy Daytona in the house. He says even more elite because he's been saying Brock's elite, so now he's even more elite. He's the elite of eliteness, the elitist. Oh wait, that doesn't sound good. That's a bad thing to be an elitist. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot to like. There was just a few concerns. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting rolling into Seattle on Thursday with no Hufanga. And
I think Brown's gonna. I think obviously he's got a pretty decent look. If they start to go routes to DK, he's going to have his work cut out for him, right? But yeah, I think we're going to be really. This is my take, and this it's in the future, so I'm happy to be wrong. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with what Brown is going to be able to do for us.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yep.
We'll see on Monday. Randy, let's not get hyphy. Okay, dear, he's working on it, but good so far. There you go. I'll argue Ayuk. He gets the ball right up every time, drops passes too. Yeah, Ayuk's had his share of drops.
Yeah, but I don't think look how many. I think he's probably dropped it 3 or 4 times this season.
I don't know. There were some big ones. There was a big one in Cleveland. There was a big one. I want to say the Bengals.
Yeah, there was a big one with the Bengals.
Yeah, and Cleveland. So 2 of our 3 losses had huge Ayuk drops. But yeah, I think he's our. Well, Kittle has the best hands, but Ayuk is the best of our receivers for sure.
Yeah.
And Debo and Jennings are not exactly sure-handed. So.
Well, I thought Debo had a good game yesterday with regard to his, and I think, he ran some routes yesterday that were pretty good. I think it was good the way that Kyle used him, because we need him to be a threat to open up other lanes. So yeah.
Rams swept Seattle for you. Don't blow it. Yeah, I was saying that as we were walking out. Someone was telling me it's like the Rams are going to win. And I was like, no way, really? And they beat them week 1, so that means there'll be a sweep by the Rams. Who had that on their bingo card?
Well, that's right.
Knowing that the Seahawks were, I felt like the Seahawks were better before the season, and still feel like the Seahawks are the better team. But good job by the Rams. I mean, the guy thought the game was going to be over, but then somehow the Seahawks got into field goal range, and it took a Myers miss to actually ice it. So that definitely made me nervous when I heard that. But DB me, yeah, we need some DBs help. Oh, like I said, maybe Jair Brown will be Tig. Maybe he'll be the man.
I personally think he will be.
Got Steven in the house. Don't bother me. He was there for the music video. He's at the end with the sweet plastic brim on his brim and like the super shiny gold 49ers with like nails that are like secured by nails. It's like the coolest looking hat I've ever seen, bar none. Like just the ultimate. Yeah, check out Breezy's video and look at the end. It's Steven.
What's it? What do I search on YouTube? Just we can
Breezy music video. I think Miss Crystal Peachy, if you use her handle, I think she's the one who posted it. You Crystal Peachy Breezy music video, and it'll come up. And then just ignore the part where I'm like flexing. Nick Wrong. Yeah, I call him Nick Wrong. I used him in one of my show thumbnails last week because I was saying that Purdy ain't elite. But it's getting harder and harder to argue. I'll admit. I don't know if you're here, Randy. I said I put Purdy back at 6 to 9, so not quite elite, but right on that borderline. So because I think top 5 for me is elite. So maybe next week, if he rocks out in Seattle again, beats Seattle in Seattle 2 years in a row, that gets hard to argue against.
You've got this game this week as a loss, don't you?
I did.
Last week we did the remaining schedule.
Coming into the season, and even recently, I had it as a loss. Yeah, just by the way we played yesterday, I think they're better than the Bucks. So I think we might have lost to the Seahawks if we played them yesterday, and now we don't have Huff. I guess it'll depend on Gino's elbow, but let's just assume that he's good enough to play. I think it's going to be a coin flip. I think it's going to be a really close game. And, the refs always jam us against the Seahawks. So all things equal, I think the refs will screw us. And I think we'll lose. Yeah. I don't think we'll necessarily play it super poorly. But, I don't know. Part of my stigma is like the whole Russ thing, and he's gone. And, I said, like, oh, yeah, they were 17-4 with Russ, but then 0-3 without him. So this will be big to see how we do. If we can make it 4-0 without Russ, then it's a whole new thing. And now it's in our favor, where we seem to have ownage on them at that point. One season's just one season, so it's hard to say. Yeah, that's true. Nick Wright is, even then, he's going to be caping for Mahomes. He always does. Mahomes and LeBron, those are his two stand for Nick Wright. That's the two guys he really goes to bat for. Couldn't throw deep, remember? Now, I didn't say he couldn't throw deep. I said he hadn't thrown deep. So there's a difference. But he is throwing better deep than I ever imagined recently. I mean, starting with the Cards, he had a couple deep ones. And then the Cowboys, he did really well. And then he threw that nice one to Ayuk that he dropped against the Browns. He did miss CMC deep against the Browns, but, whatever. That's one. Against the Vikings, I don't remember him throwing a lot of good deep balls against the Vikings, but against the Bengals, like I said, there was another Ayuk drop, and I feel like there was more than that. But, the Bengals, he threw the 2 interceptions. He threw the third. They got called back, and then he coughed up the ball immediately thereafter. So that was a concern. But, no, Purdy seems like he can throw deep.
He definitely can. And it seems to be a bit of a pattern.
As long as the ball's dry. As long as the ball's dry. I do worry about him in wet weather.
Yeah, of course. Kyle is dialing up these plays in the second half.
Or when he's behind, when he's pressing from behind. Those are the two areas where I worry about Brock.
Oh, right, sorry. But Kyle is the commentators mentioned it. The press in the presser yesterday, some of the beat writers mentioned it, which is a bit annoying because we don't want to draw attention to it, but it's out there now just what Kyle is doing in the second half. He, when we get the ball, he's dialing up something big, and it's almost like he wants to blow. He wants to just get the game over and done with in the third quarter.
Yeah. He, like I said, at the end of the game, his play calling was left a lot to be desired, in my opinion, yesterday. CJ has had, so we're talking about CJ Stroud, I guess, comparing him. CJ Stroud's had a hell of a season, no doubt about it, especially starting right from the beginning of the season. Not having all the weapons that Purdy has. Because who was Tank Dell before this season? Nobody had ever heard of him. Ramilius Sports Report in the house. We got all the Rams fans. They're strutting. They got their win. They're out in force. LO5. Okay. They all count the same, Ramilia. They all shine just as brightly. And they're all in the past now. So put up or shut up. But hey, they have 4 wins. So looking like they might beat my prediction of 5-12, running back 5-12. They might actually get 6 wins, the Rams. We'll see. Let's stay out of that. Okay. QB rating is 12 when he has 5 interceptions. Oh, boy. It's always the same stuff. Type in FTTB. Oh, there you go. I guess you could just type that into Twitter X.
Thank you.
Because that's the song, So Faithful to the Bay.
Thank you.
That we're shining. Yeah, it was a fun song. We had a good time that day.
Christian McCaffrey yesterday, 21 carries, same amount. So 21 completions for Brock, 21 carries for Christian. He was averaging 3.71, which is not a great deal, right? Do you think it's because I've seen that whenever we try to go outside zone, it happened. We got one away yesterday when Juszczyk had a good block off the edge, but on sort of 7 out of the 10 occasions we try to go outside zone and get McCaffrey out on the edge, it seems as though he gets beat down. Do you think it's just one of those things where the defensive coordinators have just know that it's coming, and they're able to shut it down? Because it happened a couple of times yesterday for loss. That got us behind the sticks a couple of times yesterday, which was a little bit concerning.
The Tampa run D is really good. They were third in the league in yards allowed, run yards allowed going into our game. So they're real good run D. So whatever, other defenses are doing, they're going to look better than most of them at stopping the run. But yeah, I think a lot of teams are just sort of like, we're going to take away CMC and show us who else can beat us, because he's leading the league in rushing. He's a great receiver. He just has this night. He did it again yesterday where, as the dump off, he's always going to be as close as possible to the sticks and as far as possible from the nearest defender. He has this innate ability to maximize both of those distances, which then maximizes his distance gained. It's incredible. And he's so quick and elusive. He's really shifty. It's hard for the first guy to ever make the play. So let's see here. Nancy says, let's all go to the game. Up in Seattle for Thanksgiving? Or are you talking about when they come back down here? I'm going to be there for that one. That's the one I picked with my buddy. It may be the one that my uncle gets tickets for too, and in which case my buddy may join me with my uncle and sell or give away his tickets. We'll see. But I will for sure be at the Seahawks game after we get back from the Eagles.
Yes, well, we get a little bit of time off after Thanksgiving, so we get like a little mini bye week before we go into the Eagles. I'll be so interested in this game today. I'm with you, Ted. I don't think the Chiefs are as good as they were last year. If Philly blow them out, it's going to be scary.
Danielle, you're right. Purdy is not the best at the deep ball. It's just that we have incredible weapons that get wide open, and Kyle calling the plays. There are other quarterbacks that if you put them in the system, they could do better than what Brock has done. But people refuse to hear that because all they see is statistics, and all they see is, oh, he's number one, then he must be the best. Like I said, do it with less, and I'll say you're the best, but win it all. Those are my two things.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me do a quick commercial break.
Yes.
We got TTG. That's the Travelstead Group. They're a retail and hospitality logistics company. So they do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSC, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions, from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you via air, ocean, or land. They do closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the guys to talk to. They have 100% US-based support. These are complex operations, so there's always fine-tuning, but sometimes snafus as well. And when there are, it's good to know that when you call, you'll be talking to folks here in the States, not someone in a call center overseas who has no clue what you or your business do. And check out the website. It's in the description of the show. My YouTube About page, my Twitter bio, it's on Insta and Facebook. You just click the link, check out the video. It's informative and fun. And just be sure you tell them Ted sent you. So thanks in advance, everybody. And thanks for letting me pay the bills, Pedro. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, man. Anytime. Fred Warner. Has he got his hands on the DPOY this year, you think?
He's been incredible. Absolutely incredible. So he's fun to watch.
He forced the fumble yesterday. He's a team captain.
I always thought Bosa was better, but this year Fred's been better than Bosa.
Way better.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not getting home this year, and that was one of the things that was really upsetting me about yesterday, is just how much time Baker had with the ball in his hand, and it was I just don't know whether they get, the chip blocking, the double teaming, but I think Fred Warner's having a great season. I'm so glad he's on our team, and it just goes that we've got all these pro bowlers in nearly every position on our team.
It's true. Randy was saying lame argument, Ted. He's doing it. That's the proof. Who does it on a terrible team? Well, there's a little bit of a gap there, Randy, between the best team in football and a terrible team. So nobody puts up insane numbers on a terrible team, but there are elite quarterbacks who do crazy things with a lot less. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. 49ers are not practicing today. So Banks, toe, Burford, knee. Talanoa, obviously, he's out. Limited, Javon Hargrave with a thumb. Cornerback, Shamar Jean Charles, shoulder, and Ray McLeod, a rib.
Brutal.
He's nice and safe back there.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's always there was yesterday, he came into the press and said, look, that it's half knee, and he said, but there'll be more tomorrow. So I hope, I would guess Javon's going to be right. Is someone saying that right?
Javon
Hargrave.
Yeah, it's Javon Kinlaw and Javon Hargrave. They same spelling, different pronunciation.
Right. Okay.
Well, Danielle, the one thing I'll say about Brock Purdy letting Cousins win, he was concussed at the end. So I give him a hall pass for that. I was going to lower him from 8 to 12 to 11 to 15 after the Vikings game. I kept him at 8 to 12. I didn't lower Brock to 11 to 15 till after the Bengals game. And then that was the lowest he got since he's been, high up. Now he's back to being high up again. So keep playing well, Purdy. Don't make me drop you again.
Well,
I don't want to.
Here's a stat for you. We are last in passing attempts, which seems funny to me. This is a stat I'm getting off Twitter. Maybe it's wrong. Last in passing attempts, but 8th in passing yards. So 278 passing attempts, 2,669 yards.
Well, that's the thing about throwing deep. It's easier to throw deep when they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
But nobody will hear that because his percentage is the highest, Pedro. So he must be the best at it. He has made some really nice deep throws lately, though. I will say of late, I haven't really seen anybody throw better deep balls than he has. I just, where were they in 3-game losing streak? That's all I'll say.
Well, that could be on Kyle, because don't you think that Kyle does go into his shell when he's under pressure?
Yeah, Kyle definitely gets antsy. He gets skittish. Makes bad decisions.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't think well on his feet when he is under pressure. And that shows. I mean, that's been, I think, his fault. Not his fault. He's one of his, one of his lesser points of being a head coach, that when the pressure's on, he tends to panic.
Yeah, even when it's a tie. Yeah.
Well, they were pretty close to getting it back to a 1-score game yesterday.
Yeah, they were. A couple times. right there. Like I said, they were. We stopped them. I'm like, oh, I'll go relieve myself because basically I was like, made the mistake of wearing shorts, and I wore my jersey and a t-shirt underneath it, but I had short sleeves and shorts, and
Was it cold?
it was cold and it was windy. Where I normally sit at Levi's with my buddy who takes me, who has season tickets, is like section 142, row 11. So down by the field, but deep down into the bowl. And the gold mine is like right up on the concourse, like where the escalators first come in from gate B. You just go straight ahead, and there's a gap between the giant, luxury boxes and press boxes, and that C section of stadium where the sunny side is, and then there's like a breezeway on both sides of the boxes, and like so the wind was just whipping through there, and so yeah, I drank like 3 giant tumblers of coffee.
Yeah, right.
We drink a lot of caffeine and just a lot of liquid in general, then you're bound to hit the head eventually. So I figured it was safe, but it seemed like every time I walked away, whether it was to get a coffee or to relieve myself from getting a bunch of coffees, something bad happened. I was like, God, I got to stop leaving the seats. This is not good. That's my fault. Everybody's blaming me for everything. You can blame me for that too, folks. So, it's all good. Because people were blaming me for the losing streak for getting on Purdy's bandwagon, if you remember. That was a fun one.
There's a bit of back and forth going on in the chat, guys. Like, come on,
bring it
man.
up. Bring it up. What do we want?
Well, I'm just saying, like, what's happening?
Dan Marino and Barry Sanders don't have Super Bowls. They're not the best. No, but they played on. Well, Marino didn't play on a crappy team, but Marino didn't have a defense or a run game. And Sanders had nothing. He had no O-line, no D, no QB, no wide receivers. He had nothing. And he just did it. He willed his way to, incredible performances, basically just by juking everybody out of their shoes, the way Hufanga got juked yesterday when he tore his ACL. It was like that, just breaking ankles. So it's a different, Randy. You got to take into context, man. They weren't on the best roster in football. Dan Marino ran into one of the best rosters in football in 1984 when the Niners had a killer defense and Joe, and they didn't have the weapons like we have now, but they had Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon and Russ Francis. So those guys weren't slouches. Those guys were, they were solid. I wouldn't call them elite, but they're all really solid players. So yeah, it's different, Randy. So yeah, like I said, if we have less and Brock wins, that's enough for me. You don't have to win a Super Bowl, just win with less. Or with this group, you got to win it all.
This is what I wanted to. What's up, baddies in your chat? What's up? What's happening there?
Oh, baddies. So it's a term from the NBA, and when Jordan Poole was on the Warriors, they would say baddies are like girls that are hot enough to get invited to the court side in the NBA. Like really rich guys invite baddies to go with them. And so it's like hot women basically. And so they would always say with Jordan Poole, like, oh, he doesn't play well unless there's baddies courtside. If you go to like some podunk city where they don't have the super hot Instagram model types there, Jordan Poole just didn't play as well. It took the baddies to get him to really play his A ball. Now he's a Piston or a Bullet, or not a Piston.
Right. I thought he meant like
a Wizard, whatever. The Bullets changed their name. I'm showing my age here.
Yeah, thought it meant something else.
But he's a first round. We're still talking about CJ. Matt Stafford is the best. Patrick Mahomes is the best. They have a Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, Matt Stafford is the exact reason why you can't put too much import on QB wins and losses, because he was 12 years on the Lions, 0-3 in the playoffs in those 12 years. He comes first year as a Ram. He joins a Rams super team, and they go 4-0 in the playoffs, and he wins a ring. Same, and then since the O-line fell apart, and Ramsey left, and Bobby Wagner. Well, Bobby Wagner wasn't there for the Super Bowl, but Ramsey left, and basically everyone on defense left besides Aaron Donald, and basically everybody else left other than Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp's injured. So, all of a sudden Stafford's not winning. Same quarterback. Surrounding cast is so important. And the Niners have the best surrounding cast. And it's not even close. That's the part that people don't understand. Is because of Purdy's salary being $800K, like we have a surrounding cast that you couldn't do paying a quarterback $50 million. Like a lot of these guys are. Stafford's 40, Mahomes is 45. All these new guys are 50, 55. Josh Allen's like 45, 43, something in there. So yeah, it's just interesting arguments. But people like to coach of the year stuff right there. There you go. For D'Amico, yeah, D'Amico's doing great. But it'd be tough to beat Dan Campbell though. Dan Campbell seems like a lock. Steve Young got a concussion against Atlanta, threw 11 touchdowns and interceptions. You're 498 and broken ribs. Yeah, I guess, but do we know? I don't know. We didn't have concussion protocols back then. And different people respond differently. But I just was saying, for Purdy with the Vikings game, I gave him a pass because of the concussion. A lot of people did, but if you are saying you don't care, I think that's fair. I think you could argue both sides of that coin. Some people have played with them and been just fine. I guess it just depends on how bad it is. And, every person's different, right? Everybody's physiology is different. Everybody's brain is different. So how one person does is going to be different than other people. Steve Young was insane. Plus, Steve Young is a much better quarterback than Brock Purdy. So let's just get that out there. Steve Young was elite.
Incredible.
Like in the real sense of the word, elite. And he's all time, not just that year. He's all time elite.
So I'm gonna have to wrap up in a couple of minutes.
Ted. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
We're going to the Rams. You're thinking a flip of the coin.
Seattle Seahawks, you mean?
Is it Seahawks for you?
What? You said you were going to the Rams. We're going to the Seahawks on things.
Sorry, we're going to the Seahawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
Oh boy, early for me to make one, but yeah, I think I kind of said it earlier. I think it'll come down to the last play of the game, and I think the refs will probably jam us. If not the last play of the game, but they'll jam us to where Seattle's even in it in the last play of the game. Like, I don't think they're good enough to hang with us without the refs.
I think we'll win. I think we'll win by one score.
I love it.
I think it'll be like 24-17.
There you go. I wonder what off the check. Let me just check real quick what the weather report is, because that could change things drastically for me.
Oh, it could change things massively.
Yeah. And these things could be wrong, by then. But let's just check it out real quick. There we go. So
hey, James Darnell is here.
Hey, from across the pond. I was with all the UK faithful folks yesterday, James. We had a lot of fun. They were great guys. A lot of them were buying jackets, though. I was tempted, but $175 for a bomber jacket, I couldn't justify it. So, yeah, it looks sunny. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunny in Seattle. They're getting rain Tuesday and Wednesday, but that shouldn't be an issue. It could change, but, as of now, it looks like good weather. Yeah, I'll say Niners should win, but don't be surprised if the refs jam us. And yeah, if we do win, it'll be a close game.
Yeah, one score.
One score or half a score. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone enjoy Monday Night Football. Thank you, Ted, for having me. Thank you to my audience. Thank you to the audience. We've got our news on Huff James is that he has a torn ACL out for the season. Sorry, mate.
We knew that.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Well, he's probably just woken up. I don't know what times it is back there, back in
England. It's about 11 o'clock in England.
11 a.m.
11 p.m. in
Yeah, it's
London.
11 p.m. now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in London.
GMT.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're on daylight savings, I guess. So maybe it's.
They're coming into winter, so they will not be in daylight savings.
Cool beans. Well, thank you, Pedro. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who showed up
buddy.
today. We'll see you guys next Monday at 2. What anything you got going on coming up this? I've got Ryan No Border Sports tomorrow for No BS Ted at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern.
I'll be tuning in.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and peace. Go Niners.
Go Niners.